Hey guys, Mark Lyon here, Lion Horses. Today I got a little, some of my thoughts on the recent Road to the Horse. And I've been going to Road to the Horse since 2008 or 9. I think it was 9. First time I was there. And yeah, it's been pretty interesting. So there's lots of comments after the Road to the Horse, negative and positive, and so I kind of wanted to, and I like to kind of, you know, let things ruminate a little bit. I like to let things settle and kind of think about things, and I talk to some of my friends and organize my thoughts. And so I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Road to the Horse today. So I've seen it grow and change, and my overall thoughts haven't really changed very much. I think it's improved significantly since I first started going. The rules were way more restrictive then. They didn't let you get out of the round pen until the last day, and I thought that was not a good idea. I think you should be able to get out sooner if you wanted to let your horse experience not the confines of the round pen where he really couldn't go anywhere. And I like, getting, personally for me, when I start colts, I like to get them out of the round pen when I feel like they're gonna learn more and be better served, where they can go straight and kind of and free up a little bit. And so I like that rule change. I like the fact that now sometimes they start 2 horses instead of 1, because a lot of times you'll get a really easy one or a really tough one, and then it can negatively affect how you do. And so I think if you have 2 horses, it's a little bit broader range. We get to see how a trainer is going to interact with multiple horse personalities. So I like those things. Yeah. So I think overall, I think it's a net positive. I think and there's certainly things that I think could be improved still, and there's certainly faults that I think we could work on. But I think overall it's a net positive for the horse and for the people. And so we're going to go over some of the criticisms and stuff. And so one of the things I've heard is that it's too fast. They expect the horses to do things too quickly. And yeah, I think that's can be. I would put that not as much on the event as the trainer. The trainer gets to decide how quickly they expect to go, or how quickly they think the horse is ready to learn. And when I'm starting colts, I teach every horse at the rate that I think is best for them. So one thing that I kind of tell people is I was homeschooled, and I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed being homeschooled. And the nice thing about when you're homeschooled is you get to learn as fast or as slow as you want to, as you're capable of. When you're in a classroom and there's 30 kids in there, well, the teacher has to teach to kind of the middle. Like, there's going to be some kids that don't get it, and there's going to be a lot of kids that were bored. And when I went to school for 3 years, public school, and there was some times that I was bored. And so now you become the teacher's aide, like you're just kind of helping the kids that aren't so good. And then there was times where I was struggling in certain subjects, and it was hard for me to keep up. And so the nice thing about, when you're doing one-on-one is you get to teach that horse when it's ready to the next step. And I think you're able to get more accomplished, because it's not like if you have 5 horses to train, you don't have to get them all to that next session, next level, let's say, before you go on with them. The one horse may be a week ahead of the other ones, and the other, one of them might be a week behind. When you get on that horse, you're working with that horse, and you don't care what the other ones have learned. You're teaching that horse. And if that horse is really smart, it's going to learn faster. And we shouldn't penalize the horse that's really smart by going, oh, well, it takes, you should, you're not going to saddle one in 2 weeks. If that one's ready to saddle in the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes, he's ready to saddle, or he's ready to work, or whatever. And so I like doing it one horse at a time. And I think that it's a trainer's responsibility to figure out when that horse is ready. And the second thing is I think as we are working to advance our horsemanship, we need to decide, well, who's got the most effective teaching technique? And one way to find out is to eliminate time, to shorten time. I mean, if you can get it done, if you're rebuilding an engine and this guy does it in 2 months and the other guy can do it in 2 weeks, well, and they're both the same quality of work, I think, man, I'd rather have it done in 2 weeks than 2 months. And so I think, especially with this competition, they're trying to make it restrictive enough that there's an obvious winner and we can separate the places out. You have the guy that does the best job with his horse on the final day, and then you have the one that's not quite as good, and then not quite as good, and then not quite as good. And so that way the judges are able to score that and say, hey, this guy, he taught his horse more in the same amount of time than somebody else. And so unless you restrict the time down, it's hard to tell. I mean, you watch maybe some of the futurities or any of the horse shows. It's like, yeah, they had 2, 3, 4 years to get that horse ready. Well, they're pretty close. So how do you know which trainer's the best? I've beaten guys that were way better than me because I worked harder at it. And then, the opposite is true. But if you have the same amount of time, then the person that has the best horse and the person that teaches it the most effectively is going to be winning, because everybody's got the same amount of time, and we have the time cut down enough so that it's obvious who's the leader. So anyway, I think that time is obviously something that it's criticized a lot, but I think in the competition, that's part of the necessary requirements in order to have a clear winner and a clear second and a clear third, clear fourth. So I think it separates the horse's abilities better. So I think that's it's yes, I hear people's argument, but it's also part of how we can go to a weekend like Road to the Horse and Colt Starting, and you can obviously see who's more efficient and more effective at teaching. If you say, well, you guys take them home for a month and bring them back, well, one guy may spend 6 hours a day with one, and another guy, might not. And so that's something that I think is a good effective way to separate the deals. And then the other thing is, I think as people, we go there, and not all of us are going to be able to go. I mean, it would be nice if it was a week long. That'd be cool. But the problem is unfortunately, nobody's going to, or not enough people are going to take a week off and go watch a Colt Starting for a week to learn. And so its weekend thing allows a larger number of people to come, observe different techniques and different teachers, and hear them explain why they're doing stuff, and then figure out what's going to work best for them. So I think it's a really good way to it is fast, and it might be a little bit better if we slowed it down just a little bit, but then if we did, not as many people would watch. So it's also not very good. So we want to be able to impact the most amount of people we can, so that those people also learn to be better. I think the Colt starters you're seeing now are better than they were 6, 8, 10, 15 years ago. And that's due to the Colt Starting competitions getting better and improving everybody's skill. So now the Colt starters, they're getting better because they've been watching some of those people that are winning, and they're figuring out how to teach the horse better. So I think it's helped our industry as a whole more. So that's why one reason why I think it's a net positive. And then the good thing is if you're one of those people that you think, oh, I think it would be better if it was done slower, and I would, tend to agree that um, a little bit slower would probably be better. There's a lot of clinics that you can go to. There's like I've done several colt starting clinics. There's a lot of other trainers that do colt starting clinics, and so if you want to learn how to start a colt in a week or two, you can go to their place and learn from them, or you can take a clinic or something like that with them and get some coaching. Go to a clinic and learn how to do it maybe a little better, and they can kind of help you through that. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the road to the horse. Overall, I think it's a net positive. There's certainly things that we can advance and improve on, and I think Road to the Horse is doing that. I think they're actively trying to, and it's a balance too. It's like not only is it educational, but it's also a little bit fun. It needs to be entertaining, and so you're not going to have a bunch of people come there if it's not entertaining. So they have to balance getting a few thousand people there to watch and improve their horsemanship and learn something they can take home and work with their horse on. Because if it's not entertaining, those people aren't probably going to show up. So, like I say, it's a balance. So, anyway, hope these ideas help you. And remember, we're all trying to be the person our horse deserves, and a lot of that is just learning from people that are better than us and getting educated, and then going home and practicing it. So, anyway, catch you guys later.